it's around 3:30. I need to finish up a couple of dream catchers. And I'm locating some of my other jewelry items because I have some things coming in to make. And I thought I would just pop on and do the dream catcher finishing live. So nice. Just getting out a few extras that I need, so we'll hop on in here and pop squat. Some seagrass and some iridescent beads and some copper there. So just say howdy as you pop in. It's about 3:30. I am wanting to finish up some dream catchers, and I'm just getting my materials together. So it's a windy day here in my neck of the woods. Oh my gosh, is it windy? And I don't know if the wind is howling in your area, but Lord have mercy, here it's pathetic. And if I look disheveled, it's because the wind is howling here, and I have been in and out today. I'm attempting to clean my porch off, but honestly, until the weather stops sending everything sideways, I don't think it's going to be such an easy task. Hi, Simple Girl. Every time I clean the front porch or start to clean the front porch off, because it just acquires things during the winter. I don't know if anybody else's front porch is like that. Mine is. Oh my goodness. It just, I don't know. The winter just kind of overtakes my front porch. And so I get to, put stuff back where it goes, and I always purchase patio covers the fall before, so then I'm like, well, I'm going to use those as tassels because they're just way too yellow gold for me. I don't like them. But every time I start to clean it off, the wind starts blowing again, and it makes everything go sideways again, and it's just, you can't clean it off, and it just keeps going sideways. So I feel like it's just a defeated purpose right now. It's like every time I do it, it just gets worse. And honestly, y'all, cleaning your front porch and trying to make your yard look nice when the neighbor's next door house is just burnt to the ground, I don't know, it's a weird feeling. It's just a very weird feeling. I don't really know how to explain it other than that. This whole week culminated in just weird vibes. I don't really, oh, that's pretty. Shell. I don't really know what else to say other than that. Just a lot of truly weird vibes. And it's just the strangest feeling ever. They've not been back. I do know I hooked her up with the Hope Foundation and gave her the regional Red Cross number. And I do know that the Red Cross has contacted them and has set them up for some aid. She has not been back. And with her health, I was so afraid when she showed up that it would be such a shock that we would have to watch her, or she would just fall apart on us and her health would be done. I was like, this is going to be too much. Because with me, I probably would have just fallen to my knees and just bawled my eyes out had I come home to that. And I was standing by the ambulance people, and I have a deer jaw. I was standing by the ambulance people when she got home, and there was no reaction. And I was not meaning to speak to anybody. I was just thinking out loud mostly. And I think I was just kind of in shock still. And I was like, that's not much of a reaction for your whole home and everything you own burning down. And the people standing next to me turned around and said, yeah, we thought that too. It's just been weird. It's like I was more distraught over the occurrences than they were. And I don't, that's just that. Now, somebody else may have witnessed it and thought completely opposite. But that's what I felt. And that's just me feeling something. It doesn't have to mean that, it's that way. That's just how I perceived it and how it struck me. Somebody else could have viewed the same thing and saw it completely different. We all know that. But it just, la peace. It just struck me really, really odd. And everybody coming in, howdy, howdy. I'm digging for Dreamcatcher stuff. So just pop on in. We will be needing these. just pop on in, say howdy when you get here. I'm just digging out some beads and silver stuff, leather, and we're gonna finish one of these. What in the world is that? Oh, okay. We're gonna finish one or two of these and get them out of my way. I've been trying. I want so bad to make one big enough to put one of these big honking prisms on. You have no idea. We're gonna be finishing up one or two of these, or getting them in the finishing stages. I've been weaving the last week pretty hard and heavy, and I've got 4 woven. Only 3 for sale though, because one is going to someone. And how much does it cost though? How much does what cost? Anyway, it's been the weirdest week. It's been the weirdest week, and I don't ever want to have another week like this again. But I really honestly think I've been more distraught. And then the first night, they all left and nobody was back, and we were just trying to keep an eye on it because in case it caught back fire, the fire department said to call them, they can put it out again, because they said as much stuff was in the home, it was going to burn for a few days. They were like, you're going to have to watch it for a few days. And we were like, okay. So we were watching it because, that's really close to our property line. We didn't want our house to go up, too. And so we were keeping it really close on it. We noticed that nobody ever came home until about 10 o'clock that night. The sun parked, and he was there till 2:30 in the morning. Then he left. He came back at right before dawn and left again at about 9. And then he came back at 2. And we noticed he's done this now each day. He does it at the same times, and the same people come to see him. And you can derive from that what you wish. I know what I'm deriving. And no one else has been back over here. It's just been the weirdest. I don't know. It's just weird. Yesterday, I had to have kind of a quiet, calm day because of everything that happened. I just need to calm myself down. I made this little sleeping fox. He's so cute. I love him. I made him in a dark copper. The first time, his ears are really cute too. Made him in a dark copper for the first one. So his little tail will hang off the shelf too. He doesn't have back legs. I thought the pattern had back legs. It does not. It's just got the front legs that he's curled up on. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces. And you sew them all together. And I thought this was a very cute pattern. I think it was like $1.99 on Etsy. I did have some issues with the count on the feet. I think she got the leg count wrong. But I figured it out. It wasn't a big deal. Everything else was really well written. And I really liked. I don't mind to do color changes now. I don't mind it at all. So. But I did add a little copper around the edge too, just to match them in. I think I'm going to do another, maybe I might do like a snuggler or a lovey fox. But I gave him little sleeping eyes, so he's 100%, well, not 100%, I gave him a nose, but he's pretty much child safe except for his nose. But I was going to give him eyes, but the way his head went down, it made them look funny, so I just gave him little sleeping eyes. Oh, he's so cute. So cute. So I've got a skunk to do. I'm going to try to make an extra skunk for Gypsy when I make the skunks. But today I was just like, we're all about dream catchers today. We've got to get some stuff done. I've had these rounds drying, and it's just time to get them done. So I've got them all woven, and I love all the wild shapes that this willow made this time around. We harvested it in the dead of winter when the sap was down, so it dried fairly easy for me. I've got to finish putting the brace and then cut this off. And then we are going to put some decoration on this thing. And when I do dream catchers, I do them in bulk because when I weave, I tear the snot out of my fingers. I did better this time, but I tear the snot out of my fingers because I pull the twine tight, and the twine is very sharp twine, and then I end up cutting my fingers. So I tend to weave in bulk and then let my fingers heal, and then I weave in bulk and let my fingers heal. So that's why I don't weave as much as I used to. When I do weave, I try to make them a little bit more extravagant, just in case David is like, can I sell that? Because I never know what he's going to want and what he isn't. He buys me craft. I craft. My physical therapist is like, it's cheaper than, the occupational therapy you need with your hands. So I craft and craft and craft. And my hands are actually really, really good. They don't hurt like they used to. I guess something to be said for using them all the time. But I do tend to make my dream catchers kind of extravagant. I either go way over the top or very natural and authentic. But I tend to do them all at once so that my hands can recover, because I tear my hands up when I weave. Hi, Ashley. I did not, after Thursday's events, I have just sat at home and, what am I doing? I have just sat at home and been like numb to the world. I honestly think their house burned down bothered me more than it bothered them. I'm not even lying. That's just my opinion, and they might get angry with me if they ever knew I said that. But that is just, honestly, that's how I feel. I was a mess. I'm still not. I'm not right. I'm still bothered. I still go outside and I'm bothered with how dangerous that was and how somebody could have died, and I still feel bad about the freaking cat, and I was bothered. It was like business as usual for them, and it bothered me. It bothered me to see someone so nonchalant about their entire life being tossed in the wind. So I don't know. I gave her about 7 outfits, 2 pairs of shoes, a jacket, a nightgown. Got them registered with a local area aide to replace some clothes and staples, and gave her the regional Red Cross number after I spoke with them, which I know that they have been contacted and that's in the works too. I know that she's capable of doing these things, but I also know that if it were me and I was a wreck and my house had just burnt down, I would not be thinking straight. I would need all the help. So I just would send her bullet points of, this has a program for people in your position. This is the number you need to call. And so every time I found aid, I've just done that for them, because I know that, make it as simple as possible right now, because if I were in that position, I would not be trying to consume a lot of information. I would kind of be still dazed and confused. Hello, everybody coming in. How you doing? Oh, your name looks familiar, but it's also in that cursive font, and I'm blind today. I don't have my glasses on. I don't want to put my glasses on either because my eyes are having a really weird day. The wind is blowing here like none other today, and I don't know. It's just been a really weird week for me. I never want to have a week like this ever again. Ever again. Yeah, Ashley, the waves of storms are about to get old. We've not caught some of the more severe these last 2 go-rounds, but we definitely have caught them. And the last time I remember a week of tornadic storms kind of like this was in 98. I was pregnant with my son, and I had a doctor's appointment that week, and I was getting to the miserable stages of pregnancy. And I just remember every time that I walked through the house that week, there was a storm. And I was miserable, and so I was swollen anyway, being pregnant. And I just remember thinking, oh Lord, this is never going to end. But I remember we had to take shelter like 4 times that week, and I was just like, this needs to stop, because I was way too pregnant to give a crap at that point. I was too pregnant, man. But I don't remember a violent spring like this since then. And I know that we had like the Black Friday, they call it Black Friday, and it's a storm that came through in, I believe, the 70s, late 70s. And it killed a lot of people in this area and dropped like 17 tornadoes in its path. And that was like a huge outbreak. And now these storms are dropping, on average 14 to 20 as it crosses the state. And it's like, what happened? Like, what happened? I mean, I think the government's diddling with the weather, but y'all can think what you want. But I honestly, there's not really much that explains it other than that. I don't know. I just, I read a lot of information. I go and read the government patents. I read a lot of the public CIA records. And, just kind of some of the stuff you stumble across is really strange. And you're like, oh, glad I paid for that. Have you ever been like it? Like, glad I paid for that. Ashley, thank you for catching whatever you caught. And people come here and they just don't know how to behave lately. People just don't know how to behave. I appreciate you. So my hope is to get everything in the mail through next week, by next weekend. I have just the shock of this week, I think. Watch this break. The shock of this week butthole. The shock of this week has kind of messed up my health, and yesterday I just needed to sit still. So literally all I did yesterday was crochet and sit still. I just crocheted so I could feel like I accomplished something. Although, I mean, all I made was that fox. But honest to gosh, I think that it bothered me more than it bothered them. And I honestly don't know how to feel about that. I don't. You know, and I know grief, you know, you don't really know how you'll react, but the whole family was just like, oh, well. And then the cop had me up there, and he was talking to her and me. And he was like, did you leave something on? And of course, she was saying, no. And I know she has deficits, and I'm not trying to pick on her or anything, but she's not as deficit ridden as she plays to be sometimes. And so she was like, well, we've lived here 40 years, and in 40 years ain't nothing like this ever happened. And I said, you've not lived here 40 years. I said, you've lived here almost 23. I said, because I bought 22 years ago, and I said, you were here about 10 months before me. And they own the property. And she told the cops they'd lived here for 40 years. And listen, when I was 14, this land was still being strip mined, and the owner of it, we had a sheep farm just across the way, and the owner of it was like, drag the dead sheep up and let them decompose on the property. He's like, that's fine. He's like, I need to turn them over anyway. It will help my property, my land. And so when I was 13, 14, I was hitching my horse up and dragging dead sheep over here and dropping on the property. When you work a farm, it happens. And so I was like, no, it was just, they just started strip mining the far sides of it, and it took them like 17 years to strip mine all of it because they did it in sections as the owner could basically get contracts for it. And I was just like, oh, Lord, have mercy. What tall tale is she going to tell? And then David came in the house last night, and he said, you're too nice. And I said, what? He goes, you're too nice. And I was like, he's like, all the clothes. And I said, listen, I don't fit into them anymore. And I said, I just hadn't cleaned out that area yet. I said, somebody can use them. I said, might as well be her. And he sat down and he said, I give it 2 days before they blame one of us for that. And then I thought about it. I thought, yeah, every time one of our sons goes to prison, we did it. You know, every time something bad happens over there, we did it. I mean, if they were to kick a dog and a dog bite him, we caused it to. And I'm sitting here going, oh, God, surely not. But the cops have been back and forth looking into some stuff. I don't know what they're looking into. I haven't asked them, but they've talked to us a couple times. And David told him, he said, apparently I'm too strong for my own good today. He said, I'm waiting for him to put our name out there. And the cop said, he said, oh, no. He said, we done told him ain't going to be none of that. And he said, you used to be on the rescue squad. We've known you for 30-something years. And they said they've been into everything in the last 3 years and been in and out of court and stuff. And he was like, you don't have to worry about that. And David was like, he's like, well, I'm waiting for it. But it's sad to say that is probably what they'll sit down and think up in their weird head. It doesn't matter that I was so distraught when I thought they were in the home that I was screaming at the top of my lungs from the gate, trying to scream into the bedroom area. And that I did not know where they were and was just dumbstruck for about 20 minutes until David battled through all the EMS people and said, no, the door was locked from the outside. They were gone. And that's the first time I think I breathed. I felt better. But then I was like, her cat. I don't know where her cat is. The cat did not make it. So it was just, I don't know. It's a weird experience all around. Weird experience. I'm finishing Dreamcatchers today. They don't know what started the fire. They've said that there could have been something with the attachment to the pole, or there could have been something left on in the back room of the home. A couple of the officers have been talking about the state of the add-on that they had across the back of the home, that it could have been pulling on wires and frayed them. There's a lot of, I guess sadly, there's a lot of possibilities. So I don't know. And, you know, as of right now with their investigation, it ended up being whatever, you know, it's not, I don't have a dog in that race anymore, but I don't know. It was just weird. Just a whole weird experience, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone, and I'm just not, I don't know. I'm just not happy with, you know, in the careers I've worked in, I have gauged people's emotional congruency with life. So I want to see the appropriate emotion for the appropriate event at the appropriate time. You know, we watched those as we counseled people and as I supervised people. Those were things we watched for. We looked for emotional well-being and health. And I was, just because that's what I've always looked for in my jobs, that's what I began scanning for yesterday, and I didn't see anything, and it bothered me so much. And I sat there and I thought, I feel like this is my home and not theirs. I feel as if I lost something and they don't even feel it. It was just really weird. Just really weird. And then, of course, we had to deal with the son running back and forth and parking there at all hours. But when he parks there, people show up for 30 seconds and leave, so we can all derive what we want from that. Weird. It's just weird. It's just weird. Ashley, I'm not so sure we're not in the same ballpark with that over there, just to be quite honest. Yeah, I mean, I've been highly aware of a lot of things for a long time, but, you know, there's very little you can do, especially when you don't have a police force that gives a crap. But some of the, hey, I got 2 apologies from some people yesterday, and they were like, oh, yeah, you're the woman that lady shot at for all those times, and they didn't. I said, yeah, that would be me. And he said, wow. He said, this is a very active neighborhood. I said, I've been trying to change that for about 7 years. And he said, well, you know, you just always call us. No, I said, I've given you over 27 makes and models. I said, I've given you over 18 license plate numbers. So I've identified positively from my past work and the people I know over 7 offenders routinely here. So I've passed all of it on. I said, nothing ever happens. I said, just let me get shot at for 10 months. I said, I'm not in the mood, you know, to hear an apology now. And he's like, it's fine. I said, it has been hell to live here for the last little while. And I said, it still hurts to see somebody go through this. And I said, I'm just concerned. I said, because apparently it hurt me more than it hurt them. And maybe it's because even though they've not been good neighbors, I still, you know, sympathy is not restricted to people you just care for. Sympathy pops out of nowhere. And so I've had a lot of sympathy for him. And I can't shut that off. It's how I'm made. But it's frustrating to know that, you know, I went through a huge emotional occurrence since Thursday. I've been going through it. And they seem to be doing fine. Just fine. I don't know. It's just strange. It's just strange. Okay, so I'm putting these little vines. So what I did is I'm going to make this one like this. I've had my eye on this one for the subscriber that has been absolutely just blessing everyone lately. She sent me the seeds and stuff. I mean, she's just been a blessing. She sent me more seeds. And every time she sends a package, she always boxes it so cute. And this time I got a zebra box. And if you know me, you know that I love boxes. So I've got all the little boxes, and I'm like, oh, because it's like little memories. So every time I see the box, I remember somebody was kind and sent me something. So I will repurpose the boxes. I have a box that Gypsy gave me full of wax melts. And I have decided to put my lemon teas in there. So every time I drink a lemon tea, I think of Gypsy. And I do stuff like that. And y'all keep Gypsy in your prayers too. She's like me. Her health bobbles up and down every day, and neither one of us are very healthy. And it's hard to have such a great friend so far away. It's just far enough to be a hardship on travel. And if I was not unhealthy, I would see her so often. And I wish I could see her more. And I'm planning, as soon as this weather picks a season, I'm planning on trying to go up and visit for a few days and say hi and catch up. And I've got to take her Christmas stuff up there, and I just want to visit for a few days and see my friend. We've both been dealing with a lot this last year, and it's hard to have a friend so far away that you wish was right next door at all times. See, there's somebody else turning around out there now. There's been so many people just turn around out there. and gawk and go on. And I don't know if it's like Sunday drivers that just heard it on the news, or I don't know. But if they gawk for too long, I go step on the porch so they'll go away, because I wouldn't want somebody staring at my house had it just happened. I kind of tell them to shoo, we're at the dead end of a road. Just mind your business and go on. But I don't know, it's just been a weird end of the week. The FedEx man was even heartbroken this morning. He said, what in the world happened? And I was like, yeah. And he's the best FedEx driver I've ever had, like the only good FedEx driver I've ever had. And he's like, what the crap happened? And I told him, he's like, oh my God. He's like, they're lucky to have got out of there. And I was like, yeah, I know. I said, they just had a doctor's appointment, a medical appointment, or they would have been home. I'm going to put some burlap on this one. From Alabama. Howdy, howdy from Alabama. It's not the lady that shot at me. It's not her house. We have the first, they finally got her competency hearing. She was found competent. So we have the first hearing on that on the 6th of May, which sadly enough is, I think, the day that they had my mammogram redone for. So I'm going to have to call and change that now. Mess up all my flipping medical appointments because somebody's being a turd. So I'm going to change my mammogram appointment because of her now. She's just a gift that keeps on giving. No, but it wasn't that lady. It was just the neighbors here. Well, I mean, bless their hearts, they all have a felon family, and none of them like me because of my old career. And they all think I'm a horrible person. They have no idea that, I'm the person that give you the shirt off my back. They just think that everything that goes wrong in their life, just because they know me, it must be me doing it. And I'm like, oh God, your family had 17 charges in one 4-month period. There might be a reason that you're getting caught by the po-po because your family keeps doing illegal crap. But bar me from trying to awaken you to that reality. But it's like I told the cop, if they kicked a dog and it bit them, it would somehow be my fault. It absolutely would. But I still feel really bad for them, and I still would help them, and I still have helped them. And I told her, I said, if you find, if they get you settled and you need a care package, laundry detergent, soaps, shampoos, necessities, toothbrushes, toothpaste, I said, just yell. Let me know what you need. I mean, it's not a time to be petty. It's a time to help somebody that just lost their home. And I don't really think she understands that. I don't think she understands where my concern's coming from and how I can be concerned. And I'm like, you just lost your home. And I don't know any other way to be but concerned. And I don't understand how you're not concerned. It's lost in translation between us. Actually, I don't know. I tried not to pry into anybody's business yesterday and kind of keep my space unless the officers and people needed to talk to me. I mean, I was taking out bottles of ice cold water for the firefighters and asking anybody if they needed anything else. And because they're all volunteer firefighters. And I was just like, do you need anything else? Is anybody too hot? I can turn on the AC in the house and just can go sit in the house. And it just because they were doing such an awesome job for my neighbor, and they were overheated, and it was dangerous because it was a trailer, so it made it more dangerous for them. It did. And I don't know. And she just looked at me like, she didn't even say thank you to anyone. She just looked at her house, walked up to it, looked at it, and went back and got back in the vehicle. And I went over to make sure she was okay. She wasn't crying. She was just sitting there. And I spoke with her and told her, if I'm going to send you some, I said, I'm starting to ask about the aid organizations, the area. I said, I know a lot of the organization heads. I said, we'll get you registered for some help. I said, I'll send you the information. I said, I'll forward your number to them. I said, I'll make sure I'll tell you who I gave your number to so you can expect a call. And I said, I'm going to find the Red Cross and some other organizations and give you the contact numbers. I said, we're just going to look for anything that has an aid program for someone in this situation. And she said, okay. And I said, if you get settled somewhere, I said, and you find yourself needing just a care package of necessities, call us. Let us know, and we'll go out and get them for you. And which we've done a little bit already, but she was just like, I don't know. It's just weird. Weird. I really don't know what to think about. I mean, I've seen a lot of weird things in my time between corrections and juvenile wilderness boot camps and murder scenes and precedence investigations. And but the emotions I saw the other day kind of took the cake. Well, the emotions I didn't see kind of took the cake. I don't know. It was just really strange. Just really strange. Just really strange. Just not sure about it, y'all. I don't want to waste these, so I try to make sure I get them just long enough, but not too long. I certainly don't want to waste these beaded threads because they are so expensive. I only put these on my special ones. So, now you know. It's just weird. It was a weird experience. I certainly hope they had everything lined up and they had insurance and stuff, because there's nothing over there. Nothing. And honestly, the stuff that the firefighters drug out the window so they could get into the rooms and spray to combat the fire from coming on down. That's some A&E horrors crap going on over there. And I don't mean to be mean. It's just, it surprised the heck out of me. I mean, I knew it wasn't like the Taj Mahal, but I mean, you know, I didn't think it was in that state. I mean, you have ideas, especially, you know, if you pay an exterminator what David and I pay. You have ideas, but certainly did not anticipate that. I don't think the fire department did either. They were kind of taken aback because they were screaming at one point, "We can't fight this if we can't get to it." And I felt really bad for them because they were all doing all they could. So every time the wind blows, it blows another piece of the home off, away. And they've not made any attempt to, they've not even been here except for the son. And he just sits in the parking lot and waits in the parking lot, in the driveway, and waits for people. But they've not made any attempt to really pick anything up that's blowing away. And so probably next week, I'd say it will all be in my yard. Just cross that bridge when we get there. It's just, I don't know. I just need to invest in a 10-foot tall property fence. Just let it go. Just be happy at that. Okay, where I'm at right now is I've gotten to right here. I've got 2 kinds of burlap, leather, ivy leaf ribbon on it. I do have some coyote fur. I don't know where that went in my brain, but it went there and stayed there. I've got some coyote fur that I was working with the other day that I may put on here. If I can get it to glue just right. Oh, dropped my thread. I don't know. I've just had a weird, you know, I've had a weird couple of days. And it didn't do crap for my health, let me tell you what. I've been swelling and flustered, and it was just a lot to compost. And the other neighbor up there, the one that came and beat on my door, she had the smoke drift to her house first. She's in the same state as I am. She's in, well, she almost had a house fire once, so she's like a nervous wreck now. And she talked to me the other day, and she's like, I don't understand. She was like, I busted my butt to get over here, and she's like, beat on the wall, and see if there's anybody home. She said to get you up, and she said then we both were trying to see if somebody was home and to move stuff for the fire department so they could get in here and swing the engine in efficiently and quickly, and nothing would block them and nothing would impede them. I mean, that was the first thing. I was like, get everything out of their way. They've got to get in here fast. Move it, move it, move it. And that's just a courtesy. I mean, they're a freaking fire department. Move your crap, you know. And this is a very tiny road at the end, so it's hard to get those big engines back here anyway. And I mean, we busted her humps, and I probably overdid my legs. I know I did because I've had problems with them since then. But she's like, she had to do a statement for the cops because of everything she witnessed and saw. And I kind of am curious about why they wanted that from her, and then again, I'm not. But she was like, nobody but you has said thank you. And I was like, it's okay. It's okay. I said it's just this place. And I don't know how to tell her anything other than that. It's just this place. Which used to be a great place with kids playing and laughter echoing. And it's just not anymore. That's sad. But it is what it is, you know, people. We have a tendency to ruin things. It's just strange. Yeah, Ashley, you've been through the ringer, honey. You've been on my mind and heart a lot. Yeah, it normally happens in threes, they say. I don't know if I can handle 3. Seems like I'm bearing the brunt of everybody's stuff, so let's not take it to 3. Woo, Lord. Like, I never pray for patience because I know that you learn it in the worst way possible. And I've made a concerted effort in my life to never pray for patience. Because I've seen people pray for patience, and I've seen what they've gone through, and I'm like, not interested. No, thank you. I'll learn it on my own. Honestly, I'm that way. But it's been rough. The last few weeks have been rough. Oddly enough, today I got up, and when I looked at the property, I felt the first like breath I've taken in a few days. And I thought, okay, you know, that's we're getting through it. But y'all, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. I don't care if I absolutely everything you and I stood for was, you know, polar opposites of the world. And we despised each other. If something bad happened to you, I'm putting money in the offering plate and I'm sending whatever I have. That's just how I am. That's how I was raised to be. Because whether or not I think people see me do those things, I know 100% that the Lord is going to see me if I don't do what he tells me to do. And I don't know about y'all, but I'm not in the business of ticking off the Lord. So I'm going to do what I feel led to do, you know, no matter what kind of beef we got, you know, because bigger stuff than beef in the world. But these people seem genuinely like didn't know how to take everybody being at their home and helping. Maybe they were just scared that something was going to be shown, or I don't know. I don't know. It's just been weird. It's just been weird. But I will say that him showing up every night and staying over here till people come and show up, and it ain't good. Ain't nothing good going on in them hours. Your mom and daddy ever tell you that? Ain't nothing good happens between them hours. That's kind of the mode I've been in the last couple of days. Because he won't come pick anything up during the day or watch it during the day, but he's there at 2 a.m., 10 p.m. I don't know. I just find that weird. We all know. We all can assume. You can have your assumptions. I'll have mine. I like that. That's got a raccoon jaw on it now with the dangles. And I put a little burlap bead behind the jaw on the coyote fur. I like the way it's going now. Now, I'm going to have to counterbalance the weight over here. So, what I thought I told there's some selenite. Well, let me see. Sadly, it's probably just almost expensive to do that, Ashley. I'm trying to think. There's got to be something out there aid-wise for that. There's got to be. Let me ask a couple people I know a couple of questions. I mean, honestly, I think they kind of have to put you on some kind of payment plan and give you a long-term payment option with that because, you know, there's really no way they can anticipate you paying that much money at once. You know, and you did them a kindness by assuming the debt. Otherwise, I dropped my bead. Where'd it go? There it is. Otherwise, and this is going to sound really cold, otherwise they had to have maintained the body for several months until the state deemed it the state's responsibility. I know it sounds really cold, people, but I'm just saying that's what happens factually. The wind puffed at me as though to say it was mad that I said that. But you would think that they would be thankful that they at least had somebody to bill. I don't know. Maybe I'll look at the world. I don't know. Maybe I'm just like, I think I see the duh and nobody else sees the duh. Maybe it's because they're looking at it from the standpoint of money. And we all know what that'll get you. I was going to say, you won't be able to pass through the eye of a needle, but you can't get through this bead either. Y'all know, y'all know. Oh, I had a needle around here that I was using for this. Oh my goodness. Don't fall. I can't lose you. You're too expensive. Hey, I miss Curtis and Curtis's bone beads. Let me tell you what. I mean, I don't mind to pay for nothing, but I know when I'm getting bamboozled. Frustrating. I'm trying to make something every day that if David wants to take it with him to that festival, the Spring Planting Festival, he can. I really hope I get to go if my health holds out. But this spring has been kind of tumultuous weather-wise, so I'm not going to like make any rock solid plans to absolutely be there. My goodness. These beads are not consistently milled the same diameter, and that's the problem I'm having. I never had that problem with Curtis's. You're gonna hear me talk about Curtis a lot here next little bit because I'm missing Curtis's awesome skill set right now. I know these people try, but I just I mean, I don't mind the color and the shape and stuff, but they're not consistently milled the same size. So I have a hard time putting them on stuff that I purchased that is supposed to be the same size to go in there, which makes a lot of them unusable, which infuriates me. Goodness gracious. I don't even mind the odd sizes. I just need the inside diameter bead to be the same size on all of them. That's all I'm asking for. Not a whole lot. That's all I want. Nope. Man. Okay, let's try some more. I've got it up here on my lettuce dishes. I don't know, are they cabbage, lettuce? I don't know. They're made in Italy. I got them for 95 cents at a flea market, and I thought they was pretty. I don't know if they're worth anything or not. I just thought it's cute. put them out in the spring. Oh, I need to post a picture of my plants that I put out 72 seeds in my little germination plate. I call it a plate. It's a tray. Wednesday? Tuesday or Wednesday. This week, y'all. This week. I already have like 4-inch tall plants. I don't know how that happened. Don't have a clue. I don't think I've ever had anything germinate that fast. And I'm like, holy crap, these are some good seeds. And it's the seeds that the sub sent me, and she sent me some more. And I have been sharing them with mom and dad and some families that are putting out gardens. I even called the jail to see if they were doing a garden this year and told them I had some seeds if they needed them. So I may go up there and let the administrator look through them. And that way, if they put out a garden, there's more profit for the jail instead of having to spend all of it on materials. You know, might as well. Seeds only last, about 2-3 years. So, they need to be used. Oh, I hear a door shut. Maybe David's going to make an appearance. Okay, so now I'm putting the bone beads on the outside strand. And it's just the little touches that let people know you spent time on something. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. I won't guarantee it'll turn out being my best work. It is hot in this house, and I refuse to turn on the AC. It's too early. I've turned into my parents. Although my parents definitely have the AC on. I guarantee you my dad has got the AC on. He'll go out and work and get hot in the winter and come in and think he needs to turn the fan on in the house. And we're all sitting there shivering. But I guarantee Dad's got the AC on. But I refuse to. Like when they were my age, they're no, you can hold out for a few more weeks. It's not hot yet. And now they're like, I'm 70-something years old. Turn that goddamn AC on. I'm still at the age where I'm like, I refuse to turn it on. We used to never turn on until after my birthday, the end of May. I don't know if I'm going to make it there this year. I just don't. That's the sad thing. I probably would have had a family meeting and had them all come to the funeral home, had them all sign the contract. I know that's mean of me. That's mean of me, but we've been in that situation before. And just luckily more than one family member helped. And I fully understand that was a rarity. But it's, I don't know, funerals, and they're for the living and not for the dead, but it sure is an expensive experience to mourn these days. Of course, anything we've turned into a business kind of makes you wonder what our plight on the earth is. I'd rather grow grass that a cow's going to eat and crap out than be planted in a rock garden. That wind is just blowing crap all over. It's just big hunking pieces of tin or thing. Okay, I've got bone beads on each outside arm now. I like the color scheme. I like the neutral color scheme going on here. And I don't want to get it too busy. I want to keep it kind of simple. But to balance out this, I'm going to have to put some selenite. And I'm going to put some shell. And I'm going to have to figure out how, because I don't want to resin it on there. I think I'd make my mind up before I did this, but I did not. I just jump in here. And start crafting. Hope it all works out for the best. Need to be planning it out a little bit more. Okay, let's try to make another bow. I'm trying to make this one a little cute. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right word or not. Not cute, but a little, I don't know, aesthetic. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Y'all, I am honestly, my brain is probably not going to work until I get over the emotions of this whole week. I'm just telling you, I don't know. Nothing ever bothered me when I worked in corrections because I don't know. I just had that professional wall up so well, nothing ever got to me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but this week's getting to me. It's getting to me bad. Let's try to put this right here. Oh, if my glue gun would work, it would be lovely. I have so many glue guns and they're all on their last leg. And I don't know how I accomplished that for them all to croak at the same time. I really don't. Just talented, I guess. I do use them a lot in the winter. Although I do a lot of stuff that's just plumb natural stuff that I don't even use glue for. So sometimes I wonder how I go through so much glue. It doesn't help that it's Gorilla Glue that costs an arm and a leg. I gotta find a box that this will ship into, and holy crap, I did try to fix the one that I thought would fit in a box the easiest. So I was thinking when I was looking at the shapes of these, I'm in love with the shape of you. Who sings that song? So I was paying attention to a certain degree there. Somewhat. A little bit. Kinda. Gonna glue something to my kitchen table. Just way it's gonna happen. Come on now. Stick. Okay, now I've got a bow and 2 big pieces of selenite bars over here. And we've got balance once again. Leave it to selenite to bring the balance in more ways than one. I really like this. I'm going to add a couple of pretty dangles in here. Not a lot. Not a lot. Just a little. And then I'm going to call it. And I'm trying to use mostly natural items. We need a spider for the web. Hi, Mary. Mary, it's horrible. Isn't it horrible? I just don't know. Listen, people are beginning to wig me out after this week. I mean, I was already slightly wigged out. Y'all know me. I've seen a lot in my life. You know, I have just cause to be wigged out about a lot of things. I've seen a lot. But this week takes the cake. I never thought, so the things I've seen this week, that I would ever see. Trying to hold that, make that glue hold on to those strings. Okay, that's going to be the spider. That shell bead. Oh, that is so pretty. That's my spider. Y'all know it has to be a spider. And I thought I had a bone bead that wouldn't, there it is. I had a bone bead that was a little oblong that wouldn't glue. And I'm going to put it on the spider as well. Just for some depth. Yeah, I like that. I like the two-tone there. I put that on the spider just for some depth. It's a bison, it's a buffalo bone bead. Okay, the selenite needs to be glued back here too. I know as you get older, of course, you obviously are aware of more because you know more, but it seems like in the last year, I have basically lost all trust in the world. That sounds really horrible, but it's not untrue. Where in the crap did it go? There it is. Okay. Okay, now I've got to glue all these dangles so they don't move, since I do like where they are. So let's get them stuck for good. I found a show on the Roku channel that I just downloaded today because I'm an idiot. And it's Ghost Nation. I didn't know those guys did another show. I'm always late to the TV stuff because I just don't watch a lot of TV. But I was trying to watch like Turner Classic Movies and stuff while I crochet, and then I ran out of Turner Classic Movies, and that was in one of the recommended spots. And I was like, I didn't know they did another show. So I've been playing through those as I crochet. I don't really listen a whole lot. I mean, I listen, but I don't really pay like a whole lot of attention. I'm just kind of like noise in the background. Because I'm reading a pattern and stuff. But I found that today and I was like, I didn't know they did another show. So I've been having that on the background as I crochet. And I know that people experience weird things, but I'm here to tell you that this week has been the weirdest week, I think, of my adult life. And I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to people other than what the crap. Where did all this come from? When did this behavior in people start being a thing? And why am I like the only person that seems to, and it may just be that I'm very aware because of my jobs that I've had, but it also sometimes seems like I'm the only person that feels, and that I often feel too much, but like, you don't want to be somebody that doesn't feel anything, because, ow, I had glue on the table and it was still hot and it touched my arm. Ow. You don't want to be somebody that doesn't feel anything, but you also don't want to be the person that feels too much. I tend to be the person that feels too much. And I don't know how that happens. It always happens to me. Okay, let's add a pop of color. Oh, thank you. Is it Sherry? Yeah, thank you, Sherry. We try to make a lot of things around here on certain days. Normally during the holiday months, it's gnomes. Oh my gosh. Do you know what somebody sent me the other day? They sent me a gnome crochet pattern. I thought, how dare you? Because we all know I'm going to have to make it now. Not because I want to, but because gnomes have somehow become my thing. And if I don't, I feel like I have betrayed the gnome world, which has become my lot in life. So now I'm like, oh, well, I guess I'm going to have to make that. Do I want to? No, not really. Will I? Absolutely. It is what it is. Yeah, I buy these little tiny bracelets that are made out of beads, and I use them as parts of bows. I cheat. Because to buy seed beads is so expensive, and to line them, to wire them is, it's just, it's a job. And I find that these help me cheat. And they look pretty doggone good. And I'm going to burn my finger. Hang on. Somehow not talking is supposed to help me not burn my finger. I don't know. Maybe I think I'll concentrate. We all know that's a joke. Okay. I just like the little pop of color it gives up there, because when they get it up against the wall, be a little pop of color. Somebody else popping in for a 30-second visit. I hate to be hateful after what they've just been through, but you know, I would have other priorities in life. Just saying. I would have other priorities in life. Yes, I would. I would hope everyone would, but I can't make everyone be like me, and I wouldn't want to, but Lord have mercy. I would, sometimes you need to prioritize, and some things just shouldn't come first. Okay, I like that. I like that quite a bit. And I don't want to put too much on this, because the person that's getting this is I have a feeling, is super crafty themselves. And if you're wondering why I wanted this oblong one, the way it turned out, why I put it like this, the person I'm sending it to is not your average person. And so they don't need your average dream catcher. So I wanted to make something slightly different than I normally make. I wanted something that stood out as its own creation. And I wanted something that would reflect this individual. And so I chose this oblong one. It just kept talking to me, so I picked it. And I think it will be a very good match. If I can tie a knot to make a hanger. Hello, there we go. And I think it will be a very good match. If I can tie a knot to make a hanger. Hello, there we go. and I'm really digging it. I like it quite a bit. I really like it. I really, really, really like it. Get off of my scissors. Okay. And then right here is going to be the hanger for it. And it is perfectly balanced. I rarely ever get them perfectly balanced on my own that way. So we've got a willow frame with burlap and cotton and leather dangles, and I've got some beads in there, some acrylic beads. We've got selenite shell and bison bone. We've got a raccoon jaw with coyote hair, and we've got some turquoise seed beads. And I just really think this is pretty, and I want the person that gets this, I melted my nail on the glue gun. Anyway, I want the person who gets this to add on to this and to make it their own. So I don't want to do too much, because this person, I think, has got the heart of someone that probably needs this outlet and will need to add to it as their life kind of morphs and goes. So I don't want to put too much on there, because I want them to absolutely feel the need to add to it. I really like that. I really, really like that. And I love the way that the hole goes like that too with the, I just love it. It's just odd to be beautiful. Does that make any sense? I don't like for anything to look the same. And I kind of get a vibe when I look at my rounds and stuff. I get a vibe of who I want them to be for. And ever since I saw this one kind of draw in its pattern, I've been like, that's for someone special. And I didn't know who that someone special was going to be until last week. And then I was like, I get it now. I get it. And I always figure it out, when I'm supposed to. Sometimes a little late on the uptake, not going to lie. But, I figured out. I want to add just a few flowers in here, but I'm going to have to be careful how I do it. Oh, hey! Speaking of, I'm going to add some dried flowers. Just a few. We don't want to overpower everything. And with the dried flowers, I normally glue them in one place, and then I turn around and glue them in another. Because dried flowers they just like to shift on me for some reason. I'm not quite figured it out. You don't ever want to put too much. You just want to put enough to add a little something. But like I said, the person that's getting this, I want them to add to it. I have a feeling that they're a creative individual that will probably get a lot from adding to this. And so I want them to feel not only the approval, but also the need to add to this. So I'm going to leave it with a little bit of room for improvement, and I want them to add to it and augment it and make it theirs. That is my wish. Then I'm hoping to get all my mail out by this weekend. I'm hoping that I can leave the house without worrying about, and I will say that one of my other concerns is like, what if somebody did that to them as retaliation? Holy crap. What if they had thought this was their house? My mind has been all over the place. So I've not been like, I was supposed to go back down the hill to the farm. I don't want to now, because I'm like, no, somebody may come back for more retaliation, and they may not know that this is our home. And there's just so much when you have somebody that's, from a record point has been into a lot. It just makes you wonder how it's going to affect you just by sheer coincidence. Because people that hurt other people, they don't care who they hurt. They just enjoy doing it. And so I have just not been in a mood to really want to get super far from my house. And I know it makes perfect sense to y'all. It just doesn't make perfect sense to everybody. Oh, thank you, Mary. Oh, I'm pushing buttons. Hang on. Lord, push too many buttons. Yeah, I know. I've been watching it. It looks like they're trying to shift them north, but I have an idea they're going to get here tonight and early in the morning. Mary, that's what I've been. I'm going to try to catch a nap for tonight. Okay, I put just some dried flowers over here in the corner on the selenite. So we've got the shell, the bison bone bead, all the dangles, the beads, the burlap, the Cody fur, the raccoon jaw, the turquoise seed beads, and we've got a hanger. And I think this is probably about ready to be boxed up. It's going to need to straighten when they get it hung up. The only other thing I might add, I don't know, it might be cheesy. I'll have a little coyote. I have a little coyote that could be standing over here by the flowers. Or, no, he could be over here by the flowers. I don't know. I could put some beads on him and like put him over here by the flowers or something. Just as another representation of nature. I don't know. What do y'all think? I don't know. Don't know. I mean, he's cute. Don't know if he's vibing on me for this one. I don't know. I kind of like him and then I kind of don't. I kind of like him. I kind of like him. I just want to put something on him because he's plain. I'm not a very plain person, as y'all can tell. Let's see, where are we going? Okay, let's put him here. Yeah, okay. Let's put some flowers on the back of him. I'm going to diddy him up. Hang on. Let's now I can't even use my favorite word. I'm going to diddy him up because it sounds like P. Diddy. The world. But you can't even use funny words because of people doing horrible things. I wake up some mornings, I'm like, why am I in a basket and how did I get here? Here are the rest of the world, I fear. I really do. There's some mornings I wake up and it's you can just feel the damage that's been done in the world. I don't know. Maybe I'm a weirdo. But I swear, I do. I get up some mornings, you can just feel the damage in the world. So I am a super sensitive person, I know. Well, I'm not really. I turn it on and off really well. But, you know, I get that I am a little bit more weird than most. And I'm okay with that. Perfectly okay with that. I would almost hate to walk through the world without feeling, because it has saved my butt on so many levels at some time or another. Okay. I am gluing myself to everything, which is not enjoyable. Okay. Shake off the glue. See, I had a little piece of ribbon left. I'm going to use this ribbon to hold this stuff on here. Getting creative, y'all. I'm getting creative. I thought those little coyotes were cute. I got a whole pack of them. I certainly can't make anything smaller wood like that. I'm not that talented. Not that talented. Oh, that wind, y'all. That wind. I tell you what, West Tennessee. I've been watching West Tennessee because my nephew moved to West Tennessee, and I've been watching West Tennessee get hammered repeatedly. It worries me because I'm like, I'm constantly calling mom and dad going, how's the nephew? How's the nephew? How's it? Because they get updates on him, and I'm like, is he okay? Are they okay? Because his wife's pregnant, and I'm like, this is going to be stressful. I remember having a really bad spring when I was pregnant with Wayne, and it was just a stressful event. Listen, it's pretty from the front. Don't look at the back, okay? Just look at the front. It's actually really pretty from the front. It's just dried flowers poking out of the coyote. I'm going to cover the center with another buffalo bone bead. If I can, I've got one here somewhere. Yeah, there's one. Oh my goodness. That was not enough, I don't believe. There we go. I heard a cow moo. Farmer Smith must be moving his heifers. He's moving his heifers or they're moving themselves one. Everybody just drives in to look at this place and drive out now. It's so disconcerting. They wouldn't peel gravels everywhere. It'd be nice. I just knew those was going to fly, but they didn't. Of course, they got to have that thumping music. I mean, I'm not opposed to loud music every now and again, but I don't have a $1,200 system in my $400 car. Yeah, I know, that was mean to me. I'm adding pretties. Hang on. I'm in the zone for a moment. Bear with. Y'all ever seen the Miranda Hart show? Bear with. Bear with. Bear with. Now you're going to have to go look that up on YouTube and watch it. It's hilarious. Bear with. Bear with. If Gypsy were on here, she'd be laughing right now. Bear with. Oh, I added some Tibetan silver and another shell bead. I like him a lot now. And he finishes up that selenite bow really nicely. Yep, that's where he belongs. Oh, that's gorgeous. Hang on. Y'all are going to love this. This was what it needed. I always am waiting when I'm putting stuff on. I'm waiting for the moment when it's like, oh, yeah, that's what it wanted. This is the moment. I found what it... Oh, glue. I found what it wanted. It's beautiful. Where's my other piece of ribbon? Hang on. Hello? I put you down. Where are you? Hello? 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 Y'all ever have something in your hand and you put it down and it just goes, I don't know, to another land? The land of Logie Bar. Any other preacher's kids know what I'm talking about? Where did it go? I had another piece. I know I did. I'm not crazy. Well, I might be crazy. Let's not go there yet. I might be. Quite possibly could be. I know I had one more piece. I swear there's a ether hole somewhere just gnawing at life this week. I don't know where it went. Okay, let's just try to get this glued on here somehow. Everywhere there's a bundle for the twine, I'm going to try to stick it to it. But I know I had another piece of ribbon. I know I did. I know I did. Oh well. I will use this piece of packing tape. It's okay. It's not the prettiest, but you know, it'll work in a pinch. If I can get it off the tape. Oh, there we go. There we go. Stuck my finger right in the glue. Y'all. I'm out of sorts this week. It's not been my week. It's been the strangest week of my life. Okay, let's let that dry for just a second. Let me add one more thing of flowers before I show you. Because he just went from, oh, that's cute, to, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, the wind just changed. It means the storms are getting closer. I'm going to have to go check in just a minute. Y'all ever smell rain on the wind? Like everybody thinks I'm crazy. I smell rain on the wind a lot. Okay, let's see if it'll stay there while I show you. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's what I needed. So I put a bison bone bead, a shell, and 2 Tibetan silver scraps with some more dried flowers. And now he's got a little Cody vignette over here, and it's still perfectly balanced. They never balance as easily, which bodes well for the person getting it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Very much enamored with this one. I really like it. I really, really like it. And I don't know how I kept it balanced, but hallelujah. I'm in love. I don't always get them balanced, let me tell you what. I think a lot of times it's for who it goes to. I've had a really hard time sometimes balancing some for certain people, and then come to find out that they were like going through a really bad time in life right at that particular time. And I've been like, oh. I was like, oh, understood. Yeah, I felt that. So, you know, it's just strange sometimes when these go together, how they go together, and kind of what goes into them going together. And it's just strange. But I always kind of get a window into who I'm making them for. It's kind of neat. Kind of neat. So I've got to box that up. So I've got a lot of stuff to box that has to be mailed out the next time I get to the post office, which hopefully will be at some point this week. I'm probably going to do one more. But for the people that just showed up, I'm sweating. Look at my sleeping fox that I made yesterday. I needed just a day to be quiet after Thursday. And I love his little ears. I've got him curled down because he's snoozing. He's got little sleeping eyes on him. Little embroidered curled eyes where he's sleeping. I think he's precious. Put his little tail. I think he's precious. I love him. I'm gonna make more of that one. Yeah, it was getting there. There was a bow echo right next to it when I looked a minute ago. I'll go look at the radar. I'll put it on in the living room. I am right on the line between Middle and East, up on the top by Kentucky. And it's being kind of pushing them north before they get here, but I know that later it's going to come in. And you know, I never felt the need to put a feather on that dream catcher, which I find very strange. But I'm okay with it because it didn't want one. It wanted selenite and it wanted a bunch of natural, but it didn't want a feather. I'm okay with that. It didn't want one. I have been drawing the rounds for the dream catcher since January. David harvested the willow and we bound it and hung it up behind the stove to start drying. The bones that we put on there take about a week and a half to clean and sanitize. So there's at least a 3 to 4 week process behind every dream catcher I end up putting together. And that's another reason why I do them in batches, because everything gets done. And I have to do it then when everything's done. Then I have to wait for the next batch. But it's also very hard on my fingers when I weave because I shred them with that twine that I weave with. And I do it because it's what looks the best. So I still use it even though it's very hard on my hands. I still use it. So I was showing off the box I got. I'm all about boxes. So this box now resides with me and will have Pretty Pretties put in it for the rest of his life. I love boxes. Gypsy gave me a box with wax melts once, and I still have it, and I put my teas in it. I'm a big box person. Oh, yeah, that's a cold wind. We've got some storms getting closer. But, I mean, there's still quite a ways from me. I'm going to go check the radar, and then I'm probably going to do one more. I'm going to crank up some Chris Ledoux and just sing. Might be death metal, might be Chris Ledoux. I don't know. And I'm just going to try to have a good day. We have had some Oklahoma tornadoes on the ground of Tennessee this week. I don't understand. Having a really hard time understanding. Okay, I will shut stuff off and I will go watch the weather for a few minutes. And then if I want to, I'll come back and make another. If we have to run down the hill, we will. What have I got under my nail? Lord have mercy. Ain't no telling. Through this week, I don't know where I'm going to be. I'm supposed to be back down the hill, but with all this going on and us kind of needing to watch, we're just on edge about leaving the house alone, even though I don't really like to be here with everything that's going on. I still don't like to be at my own home. I would rather be down the hill. It's not because, there's just an energy up here that has not been good for a while. And when I'm here, it seems to take its toll on me. And after all the occurrences this week, I'm scared to leave the home because I'm like, what the heck's going on in this neighborhood? And why do I feel like I'm on this little island with spotlight on me? I don't want to leave my home with nobody here, but I also don't want to be here. It's the last year has been the hardest year of my life because I will make myself welcome anywhere. If y'all know me, by God, I'm just a bull in a china shop. I will be where I want to be. But the last year, since all this crap's happened, I don't want to be here. It's not that I don't love what we created here. It's that I don't want to put myself into the toxicity that everyone else brings around this place. And I'm too weak to fight back with it right now. I'm just too weak to push back on the bad mojo that's going on, and it just saps my health. So that's why I stay away so much. But Dave was like, I really don't want the house to be left alone this week. He's like, I'm not sure somebody didn't do that to them. And he's like, and if they did it to them, they'll do it to us if they think, we have any idea it was done. And I was like, thank you, David, for making me even more paranoid. But he's right. Like, when people have lives like that have been so convoluted with various things, you don't know who they have made mad and who they have really created a rift with and what those people are capable of. And after working in the field of corrections, you do listen. The way people get even is very, very scary. And I don't want to be drug into somebody's issue because I just share a property border. And so we're also highly aware that there may be something like that going on. We don't know, but this is all the things we have to think about because we're attached to that property. And so we're just, but David's like, I really wish you'd just sit tight for a little while. I just really don't want to be here. And then I just hope they figure it out. If somebody did it, if it was purely accidental, I just hope we get some answers because it's freaking me out. But like I said, I was way more upset than them, and I don't understand that. Like, I'm still more upset, I think, than them. I get upset every time I look at that house. It bothers me that somebody lost everything. It bothers me as I watch somebody's home burn. It bothered me. It bothered me because I couldn't find the freaking cat, which I feared was inside. It was. And then to see them just be like, oh. I would be inconsolable. I would be on the ground trying to barter with the Lord. They would have to tranquilize me and sedate me. And it bothers me that response was what I saw. Nothing feels right. And I normally have a pretty good gut about these things. And I just don't feel, I feel like we're in the middle of something that is not over. It's not our fight, but apparently we're going to be in it because we share a property line. And we better be highly aware because apparently, if somebody did this that doesn't like them, they don't care if they do something that may travel to somebody else's home or not. So you have to think about all things while you're waiting for the investigation to go. And I understand David not wanting the house to be alone, but I don't want to be the warden. I really don't. Too sick. I know, Margaret, I just have the most horrible feeling. Yeah, it's how they reacted. I was just kind of, me and the ambulance people and a few others were just like, they're not very upset. I was upset because they weren't upset. So I was like, your house just burned down. Tears? No? Really? I was upset. And it bothers me. And I know not everybody reacts in the same way. And shock and grief can, but there was nothing. There was no surprise, which bothers me. I don't know what I witnessed. I don't know. These are all just my thoughts and opinions, and they could all possibly be wrong. All I'm saying is I got some bad vibes, and I'm just not okay with it. And I don't want to be pulled into somebody else's squabbles. And I hate that in the world we live in, people can be vindictive enough to possibly do these things to others and not care who it bleeds over onto. And that you have to sit here as a decent person that's never been a pain in anybody's life, and you have to worry about your own property and your own well-being because of somebody else's crap in their life. It bothers me. It bothers me, but what can you do? I mean, that's the world we live in now. The world we live in is very unemotional and very savage. And, I mean, we're regressing at such a rate. I saw more kind emotions from the bears I archery hunted this year than I have seen out of human beings. Like, they would stop and at least play with the cubs. And when one of the cubs would fall or roll, they would kind of pat him around and be like, oh, you fell. You could see them bonding. I've not seen humans bonded I don't know how long. I mean, I think the animals have surpassed us all, to be quite honest. I don't know. They're pretty slow with the investigations around here. I don't know. And I don't know if we'll be given any of the information at all. It's just ugh. The cat cannot be found, but the cat, they said, was left in the home. So you can draw a logical, which is really sad. I mean, it could have been worse, though. It could have been worse. I'm just glad they were not home, because that was what I feared for like the first 20 minutes until David said, no, their door was locked from the outside. They were gone. Then I breathed. But, yeah, this is just me chronicling this and just kind of, I don't know what's going on in this neighborhood, but I just know that the tension and the behavior the last few years has been absolute crap. And I know there's been some new people move in, and some older people have passed away or moved out. And I know that neighborhoods change and evolve, but I've never seen one fall so quickly as the one behind us. And this little place used to kind of hold its own. The little neighborhood behind us used to have some issues, but this little place, just like 3 people on one big cut up farm section, it used to hold its own. And now it seems like we're getting drugged down as the external things change. But like the number of people that have brought problems to my property in the last 3 years that I don't know, I'm not part of their world, and half of them were inebriated or under the influence. So God knows what they were thinking when it's so strange. It's so strange. Strange. There's just a lot to think about there. But anyway, I feel the wind turning cold, so I'm going to go check the storms. But thank you for joining me for this spill your guts, brain vomit, think it through, emotional that has been the craft session. But it's good to get these things out. And I feel kind of cleansed talking about it. It's been a good experience. It's been kind of cathartic. It needed to occur. And I think that maybe why this turned out so well is because I was just letting it all out. It's important. Like this is like a watch and learn channel. Like, watch my life. You will learn a lot from it. My life has been crazy from a young age. And it's not that I do nothing crazy. I'm so boring. It's pathetic. But because of the fields I worked in, you can never really not see crazy ever again, because you're so highly attuned to it. You just sit on your porch and you're like, yeah, I know exactly what's going on there. It's sad. And I wish I didn't know so much. I wish I was stupid again. Wish I was naive again. But I'm not, and I can't ever be again. And maybe it's just I'm so highly attuned to it that I understand it, and so I know what it is. Maybe if I was still naive, I wouldn't know. Oh, no. All I know is crazy is encroaching, and I'm sure it's encroaching upon everybody, but doggone it. I'm fenced. I've got up signs that say no trespassing. I've got up a pretty good personal boundary that says don't. If you're bringing crap into my life, don't. You know, and I'm like the barricade is not holding. So I can only imagine how other people in the world feel right now. And it used to be there were more good than bad. I'm not sure there is anymore. I'm just not sure. And that worries me. And so it's kind of like, watch what I'm going through and mentally and emotionally prepare yourself, because it's everywhere. I think I just see it and address it more quickly because of the jobs I've had and being trained to spot it. But it's everywhere. It's everywhere. You know, and I have different ideas about smudging, because lots of times people smudge, and I think a lot of people have a good mindset with it and they do a good thing. But I've also had very trusted people in the tribe tell me that if you smudge and you don't do it the correct way, or you don't do it with the right heart, that it basically just opens up an invitation. Like, they don't know you're there until you take that action. If you don't do that action correctly, then they know you're there. It's kind of like putting a yellow beacon on your head, like, here I am, I'm having problems, so I'm smudging. So I'm one of those people that, you know, I will probably walk my property line and pray before I'll bring out anything. And that just makes me feel better. Honestly, it just makes me feel better. I know that Sabrina did some ley line work when she was here last time. That made me feel better. But I'm not a big one about smudging. I'm not a big one on smudging. Mary, I will. I'll keep my crochet close. I appreciate you telling me about the storms getting close. I'm just far enough away that I've got time and the ridge is between us. But yeah, I watched those earlier and I was like, oh, that's going to be a problem there. So I'm very aware. I'm going to go watch it now. But I appreciate you hanging out with me. I'm going to leave my stuff here because I'm going to be doing another one at least tonight or tomorrow. And I don't know if I'll try to go, if I feel good, I'll try to go live and let y'all join in on it. But I just wanted you to know this is where I am today. I'm like pulling out of everything that's occurred. I'm still decompressing from everything I witnessed and took in. And yes, I take way too much in environments because it's how I was trained to think and absorb and remember. And I can't delete those files. It's what my brain did for so many years in making reports for the court that it just sticks now. And so I'm processing. But it's been a heck of a week, y'all, and I'm not in a good place, and I still feel like I'm more troubled about their house burning than they are. It bothers me deeply for a number of reasons. And it's been a bad week. And I know other people have had worse going on. We've been worried about Ashley for the last week or so. There's a lot of stuff going on right now. So if you got 5 minutes, just send some good energy out. Do something kind for somebody else. Remind people that there are good in the world. Because if they're having a week like me and Ashley have had, it's kind of hard to see it. It's really hard to see it sometimes. Yeah, Annette, I understand. I'm the same way. And I used to blame it all on my career, but I think a lot of it is just the world changing too. A lot of it's just the world changing. And I'm not going to go out without talking about it and saying my piece. But it's even getting harder to talk about it. Well, I don't know. I am a hooch on a good day. But I mean, I can be a booger in 5 seconds. But I'm very much aware that there are way worse in the world out there than me, and I need to be on heightened alert. And I think I may have witnessed that in the last few days, and that bothers me even more. So I'm trying to keep the options rolling in my head until we kind of know what happened over here. But it's troubling. It's troubling, and it bothered me. There's nothing about the scenario that feels right. So we'll see how it works out. Maybe it'll come out in the wash. I don't know. It is, Sherry. It's a horrible place anymore. Maybe it's because we're in a transitional phase with a lot of heightened emotions in the world But if everybody would just take a chill pill and sit down and breathe for 5 minutes. I just want to get on TV and be like, sit your butt down, calm down, think nice thoughts. Because I don't think we have enough of that going on right now. And I'm trying. But it's like riding a bicycle uphill. You have to take so many breaks. You don't ever think you're going to crest the hill. And I feel like I've been on this hill for 10 years. And then when these big events occur, you feel like you get booted back down to the bottom and you got to start all over again. And it's just a lot to wrap your head around. Just a lot to wrap your head around. And having y'all to talk about it, because David is not a big talker. Having y'all to talk through it with it really helps. But also learn from what I'm going through. This is strange. This is strange. These things occur. You wake up, you have somebody beating on your door after you finally go to sleep after 36 hours of tornadoes. And you get thrust into, oh my God, are my neighbors in their home? Their home's on fire. Scream, scream. Where are they? Where's my husband? I've got to move vehicles. The fire truck's coming. Clear the road. You know, my whole yard is ate up with tire ridges and truck marks because I had the whole fire department and EMS. I was just like, get in the yard, get in there, get as close to the house as you can. Just drive. I don't care what you drive over. Just get in there. You know, I didn't care. I don't care. I'll mow it back out and rake it out. It'd be fine. But I would like to see that same energy from other people. I don't know. Energetically, the world is miscombobulated right now, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Oh, I'm a turd. I'm a mule. I'll sit back and fight it to the death, but I also will talk about it so that anybody that hears me will know. And if you're new to this channel and you are interested in kind of the weird things in the world going on and learning some of the weirder things out there that you may not know and answering some questions, go to the Odyssey platform and look up the Synergy channel, P-S-I-N-E-R-G-Y. And there you will find the most beautiful woman, Miss Sabrina Wallace, who is so smart she will make you feel like a toddler. But it's okay, because you will also start to gain a lot of insight into what's going on. And you will start to build a little encyclopedia in your head to kind of understand why things are the way they are and how to view certain things and how to compost a lot of material that you otherwise would not even want to intake because it's so much. So go to the Synergy channel on the Odyssey platform. Check out Sabrina. We're going to be getting together here soon. We may just wait till she comes down and do it both while we're here. But we want that interview, and we've got to have the firewall, her husband, there for internet security because, you know, bless her heart, she has more security issues than I do. So I'm letting her kind of run the show there. But we want to do another joint interview and introduce her to some new people and let people see her in another way of being, because her some of her videos are very intense, and she's not that person all the time. She's very easygoing, very lovey. She's my sister. Like, she's family to me. She's not the person you see in the videos. She gears back down and just goes about life when she's not doing her informative videos. And I think it's important that y'all see that side of her. So that's what I'm trying to bring to the mix. And the last few months has been hard. It's like something fights us every time we say we're going to do a live. Something fights us. But we're determined. So we'll get it out there. Balance is hard, Lord. If I ever achieve it, it'll be for a split second and then it falls right off. But it also gives you something to constantly work toward. So it keeps you going. And I think a lot of people just need that. So, okay, I need to shut up. I would talk to you all day if I could. I appreciate you spending time with me. We'll do another craft channel. This one's going to go in the mail by the end of the week. I've got stuff going to Ashley, to Serendipity, and this Dreamcatcher's going to its home. And I got a lot of stuff to box up. Busy week. So watch the storms. Take care of your loved ones. Remember that it's bad, but something could always be worse. And somebody's looking at your life thinking you've got it good. So try to also look at your life that way and think, I've got it good. What's the positives? I'm doing that really hard this week. Try to stay positive. Try to keep other people positive. And maybe eventually the world will shift back into a better frame of mind. That's where I'm going with this. So thank you, Annette. Everybody try to be in a good headspace this week and do our part to get the world back in a better place. You know, you think I'd tip the scales as fat as I am, but apparently it's going to take more than me. So I need y'all to help. So I am trying to be positive about all this, but I will say something feels very off. So as I work through the emotions of everything that happened last week, I'll keep things up to date and do post and let you know how I'm doing. But I'm good. I'm just, the wheels are churning. So y'all have a great day. Have a good dinner. Say prayers before bed and tell somebody you love them. If nobody tells you, I love you, Lord does too. And I'll see you on the next crafting adventure. I appreciate you, everybody. Bye.